Hello and welcome to Back to the Boardroom. I'm James.
And I'm Greer.
And this week we are off to Budapest.
Have you ever been to Budapest, James?
I have not, but I do have a fun fact for you. It may not be fun, but a fact anyway. I actually work with Hungarians who have an office in Budapest. And funnily enough, tomorrow is a bank holiday in Hungary because it is the memorial day of the 1848 revolution. There was a revolution in Hungary. Who knew? And tomorrow is the day they celebrate it.
Nice. I thought you were going to say, and they looked out the window and saw a bunch of crazy English people trying to sell tours for €160.
Yeah, no, unfortunately not. That would have been amazing. We'd have got them on.
Nice fact to begin with. We're starting off strong. You've brought some extra detail, which our listeners know you're famous for now.
Love that extra detail.
Exactly. It's a good task this week. I thought it was really fun. It's always good to see the candidates away, really out of their comfort zone somewhere else, as that's when we seem to get the most weird moments happening, and we certainly did get a lot of strange things going on this week.
We did. There was a lot of angry typing on my keyboard this week, and I think we'll explore that throughout this episode.
So the candidates, as we've said, headed off to Budapest. They had to do a bespoke tour for holidaymakers and tourists, sell tickets, give them an unforgettable experience. And the best bit, as always, is that the people who were on these tours could ask for refunds at the end if they were bad. Now, I have to say right at the beginning, the candidates had to make their way to the most glamorous of airports, Luton Airport, and Lord Sugar wasn't there again.
I'm so glad you said that, because I was gonna get in there, called away on urgent business.
Yeah. How many of us went massage?
Yeah, exactly. You stole the words right out of my mouth. And we were at Luton, my local. And I didn't know why there was Wizz Air, but I now know it's because Wizz Air is Hungarian. Wow. Which I didn't know.
Is that one of the biggest examples of product placement we've ever had?
Potentially. I was confused because it had on the tail, it had the registration of the aircraft and also the flag, I believe the aircraft's registered in, and it was a UK flag. So I thought it was a UK aircraft, and I think they have a UK subsidiary, but Wizz Air actually Hungarian.
You've got more business-minded since doing this podcast.
Yeah.
So, as always, let's start off with looking at the teams and the project managers. This week, Karen shuffled the teams around a bit. So we actually had Moira, Flo and Paul moving to Nexus, Rachel, Felicia and Trey to Supreme.
I did think they would split up Phil and Verdi.
Yeah.
And I was surprised and kind of upset that they didn't, because I don't know, I just thought they needed to be split up.
At least give one of them the chance of winning.
Exactly, right?
Yeah. Oh, so the fight for project manager was on again. And as you know, if you've been listening to our other episodes, we love laughing at some of the strange things they come out with when trying to pitch themselves. So we had Rachel versus Verdi, and he pulled out the big hitter. I'm an international DJ, yet again.
Yeah, of course. Gotta know. International DJ Verdi.
No matter the task, he's got to say he's an international DJ. Rachel fought back, though, with the best line, I've had 6 wins.
Yeah, that was great.
So she won, obviously, project manager on that team. And then last week, Lord Sugar in the boardroom said that Moira had to be project manager in this task because he didn't really know much about her. And we certainly know a lot more now. But yes, so she was there straight in. And she had a bit of an idea of what to do straight away, didn't she?
Yes, wine tasting, because I believe the rationale was I've led wine tasting or been on wine tasting with the yoga as part of the yoga class, or
yes,
or something.
Yeah. She was really sort of sold on that. You could tell that she'd been thinking on the plane and back in the house what she was going to do, because she was very like, right, I've got an idea. Here's my plan. It's going to be wine tasting. I feel like she likes wine and she leads tours and is good with people, she thought, and was like, this is the one for me. Well,
Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah, Sauvignon Blanc. And a big deep breath, everyone. Shall we take a moment in the podcast? Everyone reconnect with nature and take a deep breath and shout Sauvignon Blanc.
Sauvignon Blanc.
Let's go through some of our top moments this week. For this whole call between us, you have just been annoyed. And I think it stems from this, really. Is it Moira and the tour?
Absolutely. Yes. yes. Like, it was bad decision. Like, why would you get firstly, why would you get someone to get all the information and prepare and then move them off?
Flo did so well. I thought she was a little bit too, so what's this wine and what's that? And they did try to make her look to be a bit of a nerd, but I thought, you know what? She is taking that in and she wants to do a good job. Well done to her. And I mean, Steve and Paul, they went with it. They all learnt it. And it just seemed like on the day, Moira was like, no, I want to be in the limelight.
Yeah. And I have respect for nerds. Like, you know, it's good.
Yeah, justice for nerds. I'm also a nerd.
It's good to be a nerd. I was very pleased with, you know, Flo and the amount of questions and the detail. I think it was really good, setting the team up for success, really. I mean, don't get me wrong, she was also good in the masterclass, and I think Karen and Lord Sugar commented on that. But she didn't have to swap. I'm sure someone could have done that as well.
Yeah, I think it was a fear of missing out, but she also probably was having fun. She seemed very excited, but it just seemed very unprofessional to swap. But then the other three were trying to respect that she's project manager and let her make her decision, but her swapping onto it and then the others staying silent and her delivering some of the worst tour information I've ever heard was just cringe. She said, I drink wine and I connect with people. And then later on, she spoke to camera and said, I have no concerns. And I just thought, oh, you're deluded. This is not good.
Yep. She also got the name of the grape wrong. So it was, I believe, Sauvignon Blanc was the name of the grape, but she said it definitely wasn't that.
Yeah, she was like, it's the process instead or something.
Yeah.
She didn't know what. And did you hear? She was like, it pairs really well with some chicken.
Also, one of my favourite quotes, if you're not aware, Sauvignon Blanc is a white wine. As they're standing next to all the white grapes. No, I didn't. I thought we were just in the wrong field.
And then what I loved more is that one of the guests on the tour was like, isn't it a wine tasting? When are we going to get some wine? This whole time it would have been made better. At least if they were having something to drink, they could have ignored and now connect with Mother Earth and all of that. They could have just gone, oh, I'm going to have a drink and ignore her right now. But they didn't even have a drink.
Yeah. And so my kind of prediction halfway along was, I think Flo did a really good job of planning it, but there was some omens that there may be too much and they'll run out of time and the wine's right at the end. And then when Moira took over and seemed to take forever doing the start bit, I thought they're going to run out of time and have no time for the tasting. But that didn't occur. And it seemed like they had ample time, so fair play.
I did enjoy that when they did get to the masterclass, Flo was trying to give the information and Raj kept adding, but Flo just visibly looked so annoyed and was rolling her eyes and stuff. And I thought, well, what is Raj doing there if she's not joining in? What's she just going to do? Sit and be quiet and pour the wine like the waiter?
I have a theory on this. I feel like there was not as much preparing as there should have been for the masterclass, because when Flo and Raj were wine tasting, they were having quite a bit of I felt they were visibly laughing at each other. And I don't know, I'm not saying it's definite, but I feel like, the wine may have had something to do with that.
And we had so much of the episode concentrating on this terrible wine tasting tour. I don't think we saw hardly anything of the other team at all, unless I was writing notes about the bad spiel from Moira. I didn't really see much of a boat. I didn't see them really look at landmarks. I heard them sing Buddha, Buddha, Budapest.
Buddha, Buddha, Budapest, yeah. I think I saw the boat. It was called Ludwig.
Nice. You definitely did see it then. I was busy writing.
But I think I only saw it. I saw it once when they were negotiating the price for the boat tour, and I think another time. But they were both very brief. I don't think we saw them on the boat at all.
No, that's what I thought. We saw them all dance next to a fountain. I thought, I don't want to be on the wine tour, but I also don't want to be dancing with Trey.
Well, they danced next to the musical fountain. Then they went to Buda Castle, and then they ended up dancing next to another fountain with a band playing.
With the pricing strategy, one thing I wanted to bring up is that they seem to have picked the numbers out of thin air at the beginning. Flo was saying, let's sell the tickets for 160. Lowest is like €70 or something. And then also on the other team, I think they said 115, try and sell the tickets for.
Yeah, I got 110 or 115, and then a minimum of 90 they initially said, I think.
Yes, and I just thought, I don't know about you, but if you're on holiday, I'm a bit of a planner, so before I've gone on holiday, I like to sort of think, right, I'm going to make sure I do this, this, and this, and if anything fun comes up, great. But if someone ran up to me in the street and was like, we're doing a great tour, it's going to be fantastic, it's the best thing you've ever seen, and it's €160 each, I wouldn't pay that. I wouldn't even pay €90 each. I just wouldn't. Maybe I'm really tight, which I know you're probably tighter than I am. So would you have paid that?
No, I would not have.
Considering you said the other week that you would pay you wouldn't pay a £5 for a cheesecake or something.
I wouldn't pay £15, I think it was. But yeah, I am quite tight. But their first sale, Maximilian, he was I thought I heard him say that there is no offer that I'm going to say yes to. And then he said yes immediately.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that whole exchange was so confusing. I really don't like the sales tactic of people using your name. Like, if I'm on a call, if you have to ring up and do one of those terrible customer service things, like you need to talk to the phone company or the bank or something, and they're like, oh, hi, can I call you Greer? And I'm like, well, that is my name, but I'd rather you just said madam or something. I just find it weird when they're like, okay, so what we're going to do today, Greer? No, please.
Yeah, I get that. The weirdest experience I've ever had is actually quite recently. I booked a pub nearby for a dinner, and because I booked it and they knew I was the bookie, when they asked for my order, they said, James, what would you like? And I don't know, like, I'm sure it was nice and well intentioned, but it really freaked me out.
What did you think of obviously we're talking about selling techniques, Rachel's team with Verdi, Phil and Felucia? I think they were the worst selling trio ever. Why did they stay in that place for hours and hours on end?
I do think a lot of the blame lies with Felucia. I think we saw both Phil and Verdi say, like, we need to move. And Felucia was pretty insistent that we should stay here because people will be the same everywhere, I think she said. And I think that was a big issue in decision making, because really they sold at ridiculous prices because they were rushing, because they had 20 or 30 minutes, and you're always going to panic sell at that point. So to be honest, I put most of the blame on Felucia, to be honest. But also, I don't know if Verdi's selling tactics would have put people off. I found it quite funny that he was going around, like, with a megaphone and doing the noises, whoop, whoop, But I don't know. If I was actually there, I don't know if that would have enticed me or not.
Yeah, I think I'd probably have kept away from them. He was playing that alarm on the megaphone for like ages. And it just, I don't know. If you were trying to enjoy a relaxing cup of coffee outside, admiring the square or whatever, that would have been really annoying. I'd been like, oh, let's go. Drink up, we're leaving. One thing I wanted to ask as well is that obviously they were panic selling at the end. And they got it down to like €35 per ticket or something. Like, I know you don't tend to go on a tour or a holiday or anything. And I know it's commonplace to like people pay differently for rooms and things. But like, if you found out that you had paid 160 or 115 and then someone else had paid 35 for the same experience, you would be royally pissed off in your words.
I'd be livid.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would be.
But I guess that kind of is what happened. I guess it does happen, right? You have these voucher sites, and I guess, yeah, some people do end up getting a lot better deal, but people don't talk. I guess they rely on you not talking to not know how much you paid.
It does remind me, though, if anyone is a big TikTok fanatic, I know you've tried to stay away from going on TikTok for fear that it will take over your life because you've seen an example in me where it already has. There has been a big TikTok drama over the last like couple of months with people have gone on holiday on a 260-day Royal Caribbean Ultimate World Cruise, which sounds great, but people are now treating it like the real life version sort of Below Deck, and it's gone mad. But then you've had people on there who have paid upfront a massive cost, and then because later on in the sort of they're getting close to the departure date, they wanted to sell off tickets, they started selling it in legs, and people have paid a lot less, but they have found out on there, and there's bad blood, and people are annoyed, and there's extra special perks if you've paid the full price and you're on there for the full time and stuff. So yeah, I don't think that's going well currently on board. That ship is still sailing around with all those angry people on. But yeah, I just think, okay, you probably wouldn't find out on this, but can you imagine how bad it would be?
So you may have noticed something missing this week. No elevator pitches where we try and impress you and Lord Sugar. And this is because we're going to do a prediction check-in, and I've got some surprises for Greer as well. So
exciting.
We made predictions, I believe 7 predictions on the first episode, and we're just going to have a quick chat about how we're doing and
see who's winning out of me and you.
Exactly, if there is a clear winner. I know what everyone is waiting for, so we're going to start with that. And this is the narrator announcement prediction. So a quick recap for everyone. This is when the narrator in the show says something like 4 a.m. We predict how many distinct hours, so different hours across the 12 episodes there will be. And I try to accurately record every episode. So we may have missed some, but we're just going to go with what I've found.
Do you know, it's become a thing in my house now when the voiceover goes 4 a.m. My boyfriend's like, another hour, write it down. So I hope all of our listeners are going, that's another hour James needs to add to his list.
Exactly. You should have a checklist, right?
A bingo, the Apprentice bingo for next year.
Ooh, that'll be good, yeah. That's a good idea. Next
I'll write it down.
Next year's show. So I chimed in with 17 distinct hours. Greer, you went with 20.
Panicked.
Panicked. You like to remind me of that.
You pushed me for an answer and I had to say something. And I don't know why I went more than you, but I did.
Do you have any idea of how many have been?
I don't, but I feel like it's a lot. Unless you've been lying to me every week. You've said that there's been new ones each time. And I feel confident that 20 wasn't such a stab in the dark.
Okay, so I'm going to list off the hours we've had now very quickly. So 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 7 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m., and 9 p.m., which makes 14 distinct hours. So 3 away from my prediction.
I am pleasantly surprised. Do you feel in danger a bit that there's so many episodes left and you've only got 3 hours to meet your target? Otherwise, I've won.
No, I actually feel quite confident because what I haven't given you is the breakdown, mainly because I haven't done it yet, of how many times the same hours have been repeated. And I can tell you there's quite a lot. I don't know the exact numbers because I haven't done that homework yet, but in a couple of episodes we will see because I will reveal those.
Okay. Well, keep listening out to hear some of the other hours because I need to win. I need to win with 20.
So we move on to the next prediction. So you've already lost. Sorry. This was predicting the winner. So I chose Moira and you chose Amina. And I feel like I win this because Moira has made it further.
Oh, so you win overall, are you saying? Because she's made it further. In this category, you win overall.
In this category, yes. If she actually is the winner, it's even more a bonus point, I feel.
It is. After this week, I would be quite disappointed if Lord Sugar picked Moira as his winner. But who knows? She's still in.
Runner-up, we can't really win because we both chose the same thing, Phil. And I'm still hoping Phil makes the final.
Phil has been having some terrible luck, hasn't won yet, but somehow he's still in.
Yeah, exactly. Next one, both lost. I guess technically I was nearer, but so this was first double firing. I said episode 7, this episode, and you said episode 8, and it happened, I think, in episode 3 or 4. The next prediction, worst project manager. So I said Pie Man Paul. Your prediction, Asif, went out in the 3rd week and got fired as project manager. So I feel like he was he has to be the worst of the two.
I feel like he has to be the worst because we all knew he was leaving before he actually left in the media as well. So I feel like I backed the right candidate there.
Yeah, I feel like you'll probably win on that one. And then we had biggest blunder. So I think this is undecided. I said Dr. Paul.
Yep.
And you said Nor for the fish cake one that had already happened.
But she's got the potential to have another blunder in her, considering she couldn't even remember she was in Budapest this week.
I don't know if that was just a joke or I don't know.
I don't know. It was funny though.
But then finally, your unexpected sanity may show signs of business acumen prediction.
I don't remember. Who did I say?
You said Raj.
Oh, okay.
And I said Nor.
Oh.
And Raj is now the only member of the Power 4, I believe, that has won all the tasks. So it's now the Power 1.
Yes.
So maybe.
Is that enough for unexpected sanity?
No, it's got to be something out the ballpark, I think.
He wants to win.
Yeah, exactly. I'm competitive. And I'm introducing 3 new predictions because...
Oh my goodness. Okay, well... If you're listening at home, think of your predictions as well, because I can't be the only one under pressure. James has had time to think about these. I need some moral support.
Okay, so firstly, Nexus versus Supreme. So I believe there has been 5 tasks when we've actually had named teams.
Mm-hmm.
And Nexus have won all of them. 5-0. Absolutely crazy. And if we exclude the final in the interview, where I presume the teams won't count, there should be a maximum of 8 victories. So, what will the final score be between Nexus and Supreme?
So, Nexus have already won
5.
5. Okay.
And it's a
And there's
maximum
8.
of 8. Yeah.
So we have to remember that Bad Luck Phil is in Supreme.
Yeah. I'll let you do your prediction first.
I'm going to say my prediction, out of 8 potential wins for Nexus, I think they win 7 times and Supreme win once.
Okay, that was actually what I was going to say. But to make it more interesting, I'm going to go 6-2.
Oh, okay. You're going to let Supreme have another one?
They'll have another victory, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so rattling on to the next one. This is a yes or no, I think. Will someone leave the process?
What, ahead of time?
Yeah, like, you know, I think it usually happens in a series. Someone will be in there, and they'll say, actually, I've withdrawn.
Okay. I did worry that was going to happen to Noor this week when she said, oh, actually, Moira, I can't be involved. And I thought, no, we like you, Noor, don't go. But she said that she couldn't do the alcohol and the wine task, so swapped over. I'm going to say no one leaves because I feel like we had our slight interesting candidate in Dr. Asif, and he's also sort of already gone and is busy doing his own thing now. So I think we won't have someone leave.
I'm probably going to go with the same.
Sounds
bit boring,
good.
But yeah. And then finally, it's kind of linked to a previous prediction. Will there be another double firing? And if so, what week?
Okay. This is when my maths brain and the fact that you watch it with a fine-tooth comb, you're going to be able to work this out, whereas I'm just going to have to take a stab in the dark because I can't remember how many people are left or how many weeks we have left. So if there are more people than firing slots left, there'll be a double firing. He's working it out now. They did say at the beginning, obviously he does say it every week, but I felt like it was with more authority this week. He said, at least one of you, just at least one of you will be fired. So because I can't do quick mental maths, I'm going to say, yes, there's going to be another double firing.
What episode?
And how many episodes are there overall?
There are 12.
12. And so the last
I'm putting you on the spot. I'm pushing you.
Oh my God, why do you do this? No, because, wait. So 12 is the winner. The one before picks the 2. Episode 9.
Okay. I'm glad you didn't say what I was going to say, because I'm going to say next episode we're having a double firing.
But you're going to have to remember that was my original prediction.
I know, but it was wrong. Because it wasn't the first double firing.
So are we saying that the previous question is that the first double firing? Or when you gave me the question, did you word it as, when will the double firing be?
It was explicitly the first double firing.
Was it? I'm going to have to listen back.
It was.
I'm going to go on Spotify.
But there we go. That was your 3 extra predictions. For our challenge, and I promise you no more.
I like it. It's good. It keeps the competition alive all the way through to the end. Let us know your predictions, your answers to James's new predictions there on our Instagram at Back to the Boardroom or in our YouTube comments, and see if you can beat me as well, because that seems to be what's happening. Now it's time to go back to the boardroom, where this week we have a plethora of Lord Sugar's bad jokes relating to wine, but also we find out who on earth has won, and obviously it's not Phil and Verdi. It never will be.
I'm actually annoyed at this. I really think that I'm sorry, Nexus I don't think should have won. I feel like there should have been refunds, and I feel it's a bit of a farce. There we go, I've said it.
Tough words there. Farce.
Yeah.
Not the F word I thought you were going to go for, but one you've picked. I was really surprised that there were no refunds either. And Karen said it was because the masterclass was so good at the end with Flo and Raj that they didn't want any refunds. I feel like maybe they just felt a bit awkward, like asking for refunds or something, because the quality was just bad.
It was like, I'm speechless. I'm annoyed. I thought, yes, the selling of the tickets was pretty bad for Supreme, but Rachel got a good deal on the boat tour, and I feel like the performance, they under-promised and over-delivered their performance, whereas Raj, promising a Michelin-style experience, definitely not what was delivered. Why are there no refunds? I'm not happy. I'd be asking for a refund.
Yeah, but the problem is you wouldn't have paid the amount in the first place.
That's true.
I think, it was bad, and I was surprised that Nexus pulled through. Really, bit of a weird one in terms of who Rachel was going to bring back into the boardroom. I just thought it's got to be Faluso, because she did say don't move on. She was there saying, oh, no, when Verdi and Phil, even though they weren't doing that well either, said, let's move. I guess Verdi had to come back in, but it was really, all three of them could have come back in, really. There wasn't much in it. Lord Sugar, I think this is where we need to talk about his bad wine jokes, because I wrote some down. He said, a pile of Shiraz, which I liked, but not as much as Chateauneuf de Crap.
Chateauneuf de Crap. Yeah, I remember that one. That was
yeah.
Yes. Funny.
Expert. Very. I've got in capital letters Moira won, because I couldn't believe it. I think it was right that Lord Sugar said that Rachel, there was nothing really to pin the failure of the task on Rachel. And I think he felt genuinely bad that he fired Verdi. But I mean, he had to, because Faluso, she hadn't been in the boardroom yet, and it was her first time. It would have been pretty unfair, and people would have got annoyed. Social media would have been a buzz. But Verdi, he really pleaded in a very interesting way.
Yeah, exactly. I can't remember it exactly, but he referred to himself as just or very similar to Lord Sugar and an entrepreneur, and he was really going for it, and I thought, oh, could this save him? I don't know what's going to happen.
I think he was digging himself a hole. I guess if you presented that as, oh, Lord Sugar, I really admire your story. I think we've come from similar beginnings, and I'd really love to be working with you and all of that, that would have been good. But the way he actually worded it was, I feel like you look at me and see a younger version of you, which, okay, calling him old, but also telling Lord Sugar what he thinks and feels is possibly not great.
Yeah, no.
Something I know you usually get annoyed with too is the quality of the treat. And this week the candidates went to the immersive Fawlty Towers dining experience. Good, bad?
I wouldn't have liked it.
I wouldn't have liked it, especially with what looked like the fact that they were the only ones there.
Yeah. It's I don't know, maybe it's more bespoke than some other treats, so maybe the quality has increased a bit, but not for me. Sorry.
No, I'm not a big Fawlty Towers fan. If I'm going for a dining experience, I'd like the experience to be good food rather than fire extinguishers and whatever else is going on. I mean, I can see why some people would like it if you went and it was the whole restaurant packed out, but because it was probably in the day at 12 or something, and it was just for them, it just was a bit cringe.
Yeah. What they could have done, right, was the treat could have been to go to the Hungarian Grand Prix or something like that.
That would have been stylish, wouldn't it? That would have been an expensive treat.
That would have blown the budget.
Yes. Well, at the moment, I think, well, they could have got some money from Wizz Air for having the large plane placed in the background of the shot. But obviously, Fawlty Towers is expensive.
And now for my favourite part of the show, it's Greer with the Apprentice news.
I love that it's your favourite part of the show because I enjoy trawling through the internet, finding out some behind the scenes gossip and things we didn't know about the Apprentice process. And this week, you'll be pleased to know it's not about the house, it's not about dress sense, it's about Karen and Tim.
Oh, okay.
Did you know Karen and Tim actually have time to meet up and discuss what's going on about the task and the candidates while it's occurring?
Ooh, I did not know, but makes sense.
It does. So they're not there, writing down on those clipboards absolutely everything going on. They actually get time to go off and see each other and work out like who that team is doing a really strong performance, who isn't, who they're following and stuff, because obviously they can't go with both sub-teams either. So they do go together for a lot of things, including the teams will be doing the same sort of pictures sometimes, one after the other. So they're there, they see each other on boardroom days, obviously. But she also said in this interview with The Mirror, which I don't read unless it's for Apprentice News, she said that sometimes they're in the same hotel, but other times, like in Scotland, which is episode 1, they're actually in different hotels. So they couldn't even have like a drink and a chat. But if they are in the same hotel, they said they'll typically have dinner together while also typing and answering emails, which I thought was quite funny. They have to show it's a working dinner.
Very business-like, yeah.
Yes. And the other bit of news this week that I wanted to share, because it's something incredibly rare about Phil, Pie Man Phil Turner. He's only gone and won something.
Oh.
Not in The Apprentice, but the British Pie Awards 2024. He came away with 3 major awards and won an all-expenses paid trip to Japan.
That's not bad.
Some would say that might be a better prize than being Lord Sugar's next business partner.
Well, it's certainly a better prize than some of the treats.
Oh, better than the Faulty Towers experience. But he said that it's a yearly competition where pie makers across the country meet with butchers and farmers, and it's always a big date on the calendar. So he was really pleased to bring that back. I did like in his Instagram post, he wrote a little bit about why on earth he works in a pie business, and it's actually quite a cute reason. He said, when his grandma Eva made her first steak and kidney pie in 1933, I bet it never crossed her mind that nearly 100 years on, her recipes would still be recognised as some of the best that the country has to offer, which is very cute. Steve has commented saying, I'm looking forward to your appearance at the British Cheesecake Awards, which I thought was very amusing. But it also said that Turner's Pies is actually a team of 50 people, starting off with just him and his parents to begin with. And you know what? That's a pretty good business, even if he doesn't get the investment. I mean, he seems to be doing quite well.
Yeah. Nice work, Phil.
Good on you, Phil. So the candidates are back in London, away from Budapest. Budapest are probably quite happy about that. A good task this week. I really enjoyed it. The tour is always fun, and I like seeing them out of their comfort zones. Next week, they are going to be doing a creative campaign for electric vehicles, which I think could be more branding, more embarrassing marketing, which we like to talk about. So don't forget, you can follow us on Spotify and on Apple Podcast. Also subscribe to us on YouTube, and if you're listening to this, you can watch the videos, see me and James laughing at each other, and oh, there you go, secret gesture from James there in the ending. You're gonna have to go find the video now. And say hello on @BackToTheBoardroom on Instagram. So James, do you have a final thought for us this week?
I do. Has there ever been an episode where no one gets fired? As in excluding the interviews and ending
the winner
episode. Yeah.
I can't remember, but I feel like there has been. Someone needs to look it up for us.
But then would he have had to have said, and maybe one of you will get fired?
Yes, he'd say something different. But that's if he actually turns up. So we'll see whether he's got a massage next week or if he's actually there.
Bye.
Bye.